I could let someone down if I become the truth of what I am. I could, you know, it might hurt someone's feelings. It might, well, as long as you're not actively trying to hurt them and you're just raising your own vibration, you're not hurting anyone's feelings, but you could trigger their encompassed problem. Do you get what I'm saying? You could trigger their inability to control you. You could trigger their inability to shame you as you find your own power and aren't scared of it anymore. But you're not hurting anyone, you're freeing them. I have been intentionally working on raising my vibration. I'm not intentionally working on working more or having more effort. I'm working on raising my vibration. I'm asking myself, what would take me past me? And what are things in my life that no longer serve me? Now, we grew up in a different time. In our past, we were taught the highest we knew was basically we got either rewarded or abandoned, a lot of times based on what we do. And this has caused us to ask questions like, what do I do about this? You know, when we talk about meditation, that question comes up all the time. If I say just be, people go, so what do I do? It's almost like I don't know life without doing something. And it implies you're the doer versus the space. And that implies that you have all this action to make happen that probably doesn't involve the universe or God or anything. It's just you egoically doing what you need to do. Right? And if you ask yourself, how do I measure that I do something? It's actually kind of based on patterns in our childhood. I do it when my dad says, good job. I do it when my mom doesn't abandon me. I'm successful when I don't get hit. And what is going on in the world is that pattern was almost one linear thing that we lived in. And imagine if you always lived in the first floor of a building, but you didn't know there were other floors. Imagine that you became the very best. And life is, the American dream is get to the ultimate level of this first floor. The ultimate dream is just find someone, marry them, work, get a lot of work done, retire, and that's how you complete this floor. And life goes, hey, life, the universe, everything else is going, hey, guess what? I'm tired of this floor crap. You are an entire building. And that's the next step for you to get, oh, I'm a whole building. By the way, it'll go farther and farther. At one point, you're going to conquer the building and then start to realize you're the city. And then you're going to conquer the city and realize you're the state, and then keep going until you're the universe. And then eventually you're even the space that the universe is contained in. Can you handle the idea that you're actually bigger than the universe? I don't mean egoically. I mean that there's a connection that's available to you that's even wider and bigger in this all that isness than even the universe. Like, what if the universe is even contained within the space that you're in, right? And so I have been really, really good at raising my vibration, but there's sometimes where I do little things that are slightly, without even realizing it, lowering my vibration in order to raise it, like worrying about something and finding a solution, right? Hanging out with something or someone that doesn't align and then like overcoming it, right? And the more I do this work, the more it's like my job is to just choose the things that raise my vibration. And the ego pattern that does all this work to get love from the parents hates that, right? It goes, no, we got to have a problem to fix. We got to be the doer. We got to be all these things that we're not. And the more that I live in that energy, the more I can't actually purge it. How could I purge myself? But the more I go up in vibration, the more it just goes, oh, that old addictive pattern no longer serves me. Are you with me so far? That old addictive pattern no longer serves me. Why? Because I'm not feeding it. So we have often gone through this thing that says, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I just want you to be with the concept of the doer in that regard no longer serves you. Does that mean you'll never do anything again? No. But what if instead that the old vibration is action versus over vibration? In fact, vibration usually was last if you look back in the past. What if it's vibration and then action, meaning like I pick a vibration and then from that higher vibration, it will do a lot. It will do it. What if it does a lot? Did we ever know if the higher vibration we go into does something, right? Try that for a second. What if the higher vibration that you live in does more for you than the you that's going to do something? What if you in a higher vibration actually causes it to do more for you than you could do alone? And what if almost every egoic, so what do I do? Whether you can feel the fear in that. So what do I do? How do I get there? I'm going to work this out. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to, all that is first floor shit. And the first floor is becoming more painful, isn't it? Why? Because you're slowly becoming aware there's other floors. Without even understanding that you're aware of that, you're aware there's other floors. Did that make sense? There's an awareness there's more, but a lot of times there's not awareness that there's awareness that there's more. It's just the old thing feels heavier and you think you're falling apart. You think there's something wrong with you. You think you're in a ton of pain. No, for you to go up, they have to ruin the first floor. And you got this kind of taped up elevator, there's duct tape on it, and you never knew it was anything. You didn't kind of see it as anything valid, but this floor sucks now. This floor that just is full of, I am my bank account or my lack of bank account, I am my relationships, all these things, it just sucks here. And why does it suck? Because you might not realize that secretly you've been lifting out of that floor. Life has been lifting you out of that floor. That's why the same stuff that you did 10 years ago feels exhausting and heavy now. That's the only reason. You are somehow taken to a frequency that's aware that there's more without being aware that you're aware that there's more. So now your body is acclimated to like the whole building, but you don't see that your body has acclimated to the whole building. Right? So you're not aware of what the hell's going on. You're just awakening and don't know that. That's what a lot of people are doing right now. A lot of people are awakening and don't know that. I was talking to my friend, Kim Duramo, who I did an interview with recently. And we were talking about our awakenings. And she said hers was like, if someone gave you ayahuasca and you didn't know you took it, you know, she said, thank God I had the information to like help me like reacclimate to what's going on, right? That's what I hope to be a source of for you, is like to get what's going on, because an awakening is a push into a totally different planet. And there's a lot of things that you would expect there from living so much on the first floor. But on the other planet, you don't feel the same sense of stability, but that doesn't mean you're not supposed to be there. You don't feel the same sense of like connection to people, but you're not supposed to on that planet, right? And so as you're put on this new planet, you're in this place where you feel lost and you feel agony because you have a part of you that believes you're supposed to be back on the first planet. And all this amazing stuff is actually happening. You're flowing, you're moving, you're freer. And what you need is an awareness of what's going on. And the higher you go up, it's really helpful to have words put for what you have so that your mind can acclimate to where your body is. So as you keep going up, you need more and more of it. I am currently filling myself with David Hawkins. You know, it's so funny. Another speaker that I really respect named Aaron Abke, a couple weeks ago, put out some amazing content about David Hawkins and Power versus Force. And I had known that work, but I hadn't really fully read it. And I was talking about this the other day, but I got into it, I re-listened to it. And it was like permission for me to go even higher. And I listened to it and I felt freer. And I noticed from that higher, freer place, there were still habitual choices that I wanted to make that I didn't make. And it was like I was pulled out of another building. It was like I was pulled out of the city and looking at it from the state just by listening to it. And no matter where you are in your growth, this book helps tremendously. And it's even good at taking people, if you're watching this and you're an incredibly high vibration person, it's permission to go even higher. I mean, everyone could hear this and grow. right? And, I kind of listened to these different levels and kept listening until I didn't understand it anymore. I was like, that's about where I'm stopped at. And it was really high. But I noticed there are egoic patterns in me that can drop my vibration that I believe are me, but they were trained into me as a child. So the higher that I go up, the more I can see that. But if I stay within that pattern, I can't see it. So I listened to that. And then I also am I'm near the end of his other book called Transcending Consciousness, Stairway to Enlightenment. That book I'm listening to too now. And it's like, I noticed the first few things he was talking about were actually heavy for me because I'm like, okay, I'm past that. And then he got to this one and I'm like, hell yeah. And then it kept going to these higher levels. And so in hearing that versus getting caught in anything political, or even hearing some of my favorite past speakers, I noticed I was rising even higher than that. And I just kept going. And I called a couple friends and told them about it. And they felt alive as they heard that and remember they're getting it. And so I'm raising my vibration and finding even more of me in that. And it doesn't just go to like, oh, I feel free and I'm over my money issue. It goes to full on scientific evidence that this whole world is mirroring you. Now you have to do a lot of inner work to get to that, but you start to see, holy crap, on the days that I just keep raising my vibration and allow this thing to exponentially do its thing, a lot of the things that I wanted, I let go of, and weirdly, way better versions of those things happen. Major surprises, but the highest, deepest desires happen. Why? Because the energy in me that's scared of not having those things is gone. Right? It's not there. So if it's not there, it's not going to push these things away. Your fear of something happening is actually calling it, right? And if you allow yourself to go to a higher frequency, you lose the fear and you move into a real surrender and you go, universe, you know what? I know you got this. I know you got this. You got this. And there isn't even a Kyle here. Now, does that mean don't pay your bills? No. Does that mean don't be responsible? No. Does that mean be mean to people because they're all a dream? No. No, this is about actually you finding a level of love in you that's so masterful and magical that you create a safer world for all of humanity. And this is my calling. This is my calling more than anything. And it's my calling more than the patterns of my calling in my childhood and the callings of your 20s that say, I want to get married and I want to whatever, this is first. This is what matters. And then life will tell me what's next. And there are some actions you take. There are a few actions you just take that are quick ones, like paying your bills and whatever. But then there's also all these actions that are just the actions of raising your vibration. And I'll tell you something, usually the actions that are raising your vibration are a lot more letting go. It's amazing how much more is just trying to happen for you if you would stop the effort, if you would stop the force, if you would stop trying so hard, and you would allow yourself to just let go. Meaning like you meditating or fasting, right? Or just not doing so much, or for some people quitting their job, right? I'm not saying we don't need money, but it turns out that your vibration could be better at getting you money than staying on the first floor when you're a full building person working your ass off. In fact, most of those people are losing money now. I hear all the time, I'm working my ass off and it's not making me any money. And I'm like, I hear why. That frequency isn't allowed on this planet anymore. Hard effort to stay in the first floor doesn't work anymore, right? So at the same point, Layla made me laugh. It is on the first floor of like every building. Cheesecake Factory is on the first floor. And I didn't even realize that there was more of a building, but Cheesecake Factory is on the first floor. So when you start to see, wait, what if I just go up in vibration and allow, maybe there's an action here and there, but most of the time, the higher you go up in vibration, the more you get, there is no you that's making the action. And then the more you purge the idea that who you are is, as I said this on a past call, your parents' kid, and now the universe can work through you. So you have to ask yourself vibrationally, check this out. Am I eating the highest vibration I can find? You hear this? Right away, you might go, no, right? So I got off coffee again, and I've been staying off it, and it's crazy how freeing it is. Do you get this? Am I just that right there? Am I putting in really bad stuff, which can lower the vibration? Am I putting in energy that sucks? Am I putting in processed food? Am I putting in a ton of sugar, right? Just think about that for a minute. Am I drinking enough water? Am I fasting if I need to fast? These things will help you in a lot of ways, including, by the way, as just a side benefit of fasting, autophagy. If you don't know what autophagy is, look up AUTOPHAGY. And a guy won a Nobel Prize for discovering it, but it's about after 24 hours of fasting, how your cells actually have learned to take this really strong cells, eat the weak cells. So they become these stronger militant cells. And it is a major immunity booster, which is a good idea in this time right now. Right? And, with fasting, with inflation going up and the food prices going up, you can actually knock it down to, what if I eat every other day? And you'll be shocked at how much life is trying to get you to stop eating so much. Stop. Do you get what I'm saying? It totally does. So then you also create this higher frequency, though. This is where you go, oh, there's a higher frequency. On the higher frequency, you want less things. You want less addictions. You don't need to drink. You don't want coffee. You don't want a lot of clothes in your house. You start to be, I need less things. These things don't define me. I'm no longer what I inherited or this thing someone gave me. I'm now more. So bizarrely, you go up in value while you need less things. Let's think about that. I'm now going up. You actually not only go up in spiritual value, but you go up in literal financial value. The more you're up in vibration, the more valuable you are in this time. Not only are you counterbalancing a ton of people who are at a low vibration on the planet, but there's going to be a lot of people that are going to come to you and ask you for what you have if that calls to you to be. This is really, really big to understand. What you want to do is up your value, and you up your value by upping your vibration. When you up your vibration, that means you're connecting to God so much more, the universe. You're connecting to the truth of what you are, the now, this bigger thing, right? This is a bigger deal. Your value goes up. Your vibration went up. But weirdly, you need less things. This is where people often, not that you have to do this, but start to go live in the woods a little more, want smaller houses, need less things, start to drive in their car more and just like do their own thing, ride a bike. I just want to connect with the trees more than I want to connect with TV. So you start to lose that heavy vibration and you go in this floating vibration, and you start off by saying, I don't feel stability. I don't feel the grounding. Yeah, you don't feel the, I know that I'm seen by my mom anymore. Why? Because you don't need to be. You're a grown-up now. It's time for you to be on the higher frequency, right? I'm scared to go there. Yeah, because your body goes, if we're free, maybe my dad will hit me again. Your body goes, if I'm free. So it needs to feel through that trauma and have you prove to it that it's safe. Because if you go on a higher frequency, your body is full of trauma that goes, whenever I was free before, when I was 5, I got in trouble, I got shamed, I got yelled at. So I'm doing everything I can to avoid it, because the ego thinks that that thing happening is death, and it's not, it's freedom. So not that it happening again, but you exposing the fear. If you move to a higher vibration, it has to at one point purge the lower frequencies. It has to purge the lower frequencies. It actually goes for us to keep, it's like you're on an elevator and it goes, hey, we need to purge the first floor. So the elevator is forcing you up and you're going up to the 3rd floor, but you're still addicted to the 1st floor. And if it goes to the 4th floor, you're going to feel more addicted to the 1st floor. But if you keep going, eventually you see the 1st floor, you forgive the 1st floor, you hold space for the 1st floor, because the floors aren't only a linear stack, they're also wider. The 2nd floor holds space for the 1st floor, and then you move into the 2nd floor, and the 3rd floor holds space for the 1st and 2nd floor. And you're in a wider, more expansive floor that can purge these old floors. That's what's trying to happen for you right now. And life is going, we need to make the 1st floor unlivable. You know, had the 2020 shift not happened, had we not had lockdowns and all that stuff, a lot of people might have stayed complacent on the first floor for their entire lives, because all that mattered was just getting enough money, just staying in the relationship till it's over, even if it's not in alignment, and totally not even connecting to any source connection of yourself, or even understanding the real reason why you were put on this planet. You were put on this planet for an actual reason. And you were put into a position where you were taken from the understanding of that reason. And now life is doing what it can to remind you of the reason. You are choosing to watch me tonight. You're choosing to go, what is this? What is more? You're choosing to watch other speakers. You're getting information to make sense out of it. I wouldn't call to you if there wasn't something here. Right? So life goes, now's where you start to get that this whole thing mirrors you, and you are here to raise your vibration. And it's going to feel scary only to first floor energy. I could, you know, someone could shame me. I could let someone down if I become the truth of what I am. I could, you know, it might hurt someone's feelings. It might, well, as long as you're not actively trying to hurt them and you're just raising your own vibration, you're not hurting anyone's feelings, but you could trigger their encompassed problem. Do you get what I'm saying? You could trigger their inability to control you. You could trigger their inability to shame you as you find your own power and aren't scared of it anymore. But you're not hurting anyone, you're freeing them. That's like a caterpillar saying, if I go into a cocoon, I'm going to be hurting this other caterpillar. That's exactly the same. And really, you're just reminding the other caterpillar there's a cocoon, right? Do you get what I'm saying? This is trying to happen right now. Life is trying to get you to not only, you're all in your butterfly, but it's trying to get you to fly. It's trying to get you to actually fly. You're all butterflies, but you're in the final stages of, I'm scared I'll hurt the other caterpillars if I fly. That's the lower vibration dip, right? It's like, just fly, just go to the higher thing. Yeah, but I might be alone for a while. Yeah, you're supposed to purge the illusion that there is loneliness. You're supposed to purge the pattern that's alone, and then be there for that pattern where you see a 5-year-old that was alone when you were a kid. That's what's trying to happen. It's going, I'm going to make you purge that 5-year-old kid. I'm going to have you be there for him versus trying to get your mom to be there for him, or someone that feels like your dad to be there for them. I'm going to get you to be there for them so you see the inner child and stop being the inner child. You become the safe space. The relationship becomes you and you. And the second that child is actually fully seen, it dissolves and you become the one that saw it. And then that's your new level. You're now a floor 3 person. And then you get to play on floor 3 for a while. There's all these synchronicities. There's all this amazingness. And at one point, you're going to be so aware of the shift from first floor to second floor to third floor that you're going to go, I now understand it's never ending. So you start exponentially moving and wanting to go to the next floor. So you start to dedicate yourself. And at first you do it in all the ways that you did on the first floor. So you try to use first floor shit on the third floor. So you go through all this kind of first floor action that doesn't work anymore. Why? Because it's got a new way for you to learn. And life wouldn't be amazing if it just kept going, okay, how you went to first floor to the second floor? We just keep doing that forever. No, now it goes, now I need you to purge this way. Now I need you to forgive yourself. Now I need you to apologize. Now I need you to release. Now I need you to do nothing and see that it's okay. Now I need you to just be here. Now I need you to be free. Now I need you to do something that you used to judge as mundane and see that it's just as important. Now I need you to travel. Now I need you to stay home. It's got whatever. It's totally different than the first floor's way. And you have to start surrendering to, there's a lesson coming that I don't understand. And this is where you start surrendering more and more control, because you can't even use the first floor way or the second floor way to get from the third to the fourth floor. So you start going, God, you just do it. And the more you do this, you're just like, okay, I'll just go through some shit for a few weeks and not know what I'm supposed to learn. And then the next thing I know, I'm crying. Welcome to the 5th floor. Welcome to the 6th floor. So you raising your vibration, it says in the book Power of Force, Power versus Force, is the greatest gift you can do for humanity. And our problem is we are wired through our parents, who are much more unconscious usually than we are, to do an action. That's what you should do for everyone. You should be the caretaker for everyone at a low vibration. You should be, someone who just does the work no matter what and shuts up. You should be tough and in your you got to push your feelings down and just work through it. You have to believe old bullshit like it's about how much effort you put into it, or the belief that life is really hard. And so you have all these wiring that says the best thing I could do for humanity is a lot of effort at a low vibration. That's not the case. The best thing you could do is merge with source, is raise your vibration, is let go of the things that are blocking you from connecting to the highest vibration of yourself. Let go of the things that you can feel. And what's amazing about the book is there happen to be things, I hadn't read it at this point, that were similar. Like I talk about my 1 to 10 thing, where you feel something that feels like a 10 and go towards that and let go of the things that feel like a 2 or a 3. Well, the book has all these actual measurable things of checking the truth of if your hand goes down. They've done all these studies that are the same thing, that can tell you so many actual truths that are universal truths. And you start to understand that this is a high vibe thing and this is a low vibe. Our problem is to stay connected to our childhood. We stay in the low vibe. We know about the high vibe, but we keep doing the kind of addictive patterns because we haven't seen what a few weeks without those patterns does. It might be harder, might be painful, you might freak out, but if you keep not honoring what the pattern says and staying present with the truth, you'll just be crying. You'll just be releasing it, and then that's the new you. And then weirdly, you just start to see all kinds of synchronicities, and you start to see the world get safer. Not only just through your perspective, but you actually start to see the literal world get safer, right? Because it's matching your level of the freedom that you give your soul, right? So if your soul wants to do this, and then you have an egoic action that shrinks it, right? You're putting your own soul in lockdown, right? If you have the thing your soul wants to do, and then you go, I don't want to hang out with that person, but I'm still going to, you're imprisoning yourself. Your ego is a choice that's beating your soul, right? So your soul is going, I'm screaming for freedom, and you are choosing to honor the old pattern that keeps you feeling connected to your parents in the 70s versus your expansion of your soul. So when you go into that higher frequency and you don't know, it's going to feel wobbly because you don't have any of that stuckness. And so it falls apart. And you start to say words like, I feel broken. That's good. What if that's good? Just play with that. I feel lost. What if that's good? What if you've always needed an answer that was more your God than God? Oh, I feel lost. Okay, good. Now I feel found. Okay, I have the what do I do? I feel found. I've got the what do I do down. Do you feel that? I have the what do I do down, so I'm not lost. So think about that. Okay, I'm back to being not hurt by my parents, and you're just a pattern talking versus a constant, expanding, never-ending, infinite possibility. I want you to just play with the idea. I don't know where you personally are as you watch this, and maybe I'm talking too far for some people who are like, it's my first time here. I just want to know, I just want to know how to get that person back in my life. But I just want to just for a second be with you and just point out that this never ends into a magical world. And I promise you, if you allow yourself to be dedicated to a higher vibration, you will discover that this is an amazing, amazing game of joy and possibility. And your happiness has nothing to do with what's going on outside. And the higher you go up in frequency, right? The more you start to go, even saying the sky's the limit is way too small, because the sky exists within me. The sky is the limit is a limitation as you keep going. This shit never ends. And what this thing is trying to do through you right now, what this thing is trying to do through you is a grillion times bigger than the greatest action you can take. So be with that idea. Now, no matter how much you understood that, just take what aligns with you and go up a little bit. You don't have to get this all the way. You don't have to understand this all the way. Do you get that? You don't have to have this down perfect. You're on a long journey here. And all I want to offer you is just move your hierarchy that says, what do I do is first, to vibrations first. Maybe you'll do something that raises your vibration. Make a choice. Say no to someone. Move to a higher frequency, whatever, right? Eat different. Fast more. Drink more water, whatever it is. But ask yourself, if vibration was more important than what do I do, which a lot of times is a first floor question, what would that look like? And be vague on it, because most of the answer you don't know. But if vibration was first, I want you to just feel that. If vibration was first, is there any doing that actually spells out for you? I would say goodbye to this, or I would cancel Netflix, or I would what if vibration is first, and you can actually feel in your body the drop in vibration of some things and the rising of vibrations in some things. But you can feel the addiction to the drop in vibration. Like you might be like, Facebook's a drop in vibration, but I'm addicted to it, right? You're not. Once you understand vibration, you're not. So if I could raise my vibration, feel that. If I could raise my vibration right now, what would I let go of and what would I move towards?